So scrupulosity OCD, I feel this one can be religious or moral based. This is where OCD sort of really traps us in that, unless I am perfect, um, these are signs that I'm a bad person, and these really unworkable beliefs around making mistakes, that you can't make mistakes, or, the content of my mind that intrusive thoughts that I can't control. There's some sort of evidence of who I am. And, obviously we can have a lot of religious-based compulsions, and we might need some help from a therapist that understands the context of that within our religion, or we might need a spiritual, figure from that religion to help us learn how we can build up an ERP um, protocol that fits with our religious values but allows us to reclaim. I think there can be, with the religious side of it, there's a lot of unworkable beliefs because there were times when ancient cultures were actually quite accepting of the content of our minds being not an evidence of sin, and then there were times when religious texts were rewritten and reworked, um, without getting into the complexities of that all too much because they're controversial topics. But as they were reworked by culture, sometimes beliefs crept in about, certain thoughts are bad or wrong. So we want to go to the heart of the religion, the sort of essence of the love, the compassion, the forgiveness, we're all humans that can make mistakes, and whatever, whichever God you're thinking about is loving and forgiving, and the sort of spiritual core of these religions to go, I can live in accordance with that, and these thoughts and feelings and small mistakes and bigger mistakes perhaps even are not the sign that I'm going against my religion. Actually, all the great sort of religious figures, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, actually no, I don't want to list them. All the different big religious figures all were teaching, love, acceptance, compassion, thinking about your fellow humans. So really trying to tap into that part of our faith and our spirituality, religion, moral wise as well, is sort of understanding that humans are complex and we have different feelings, and we have this shadow part of us, and that can be a scary idea for OCD, but we don't mean a shadow in the sense that the OCD content is true, but that we all can be petty, or we can all be jealous or envious, or have Schadenfreude, or taking pleasure in others, setbacks, or we are complex humans that are imperfect, and morality is doing the best we can and really trying to live that way. But OCD will overshoot that. It will shoot it into a place which is making the OCD behavior have an impact on those around us. So again, it's one where I would say being really honest with workability and the impact of scrupulosity behavior, and that actually it will be having a negative impact on people around us. And so, if we really want to live within our religion or morality, we have to pull back the OCD behavior into a more values-based and more religious, faith-based application of these teaching and ideas, so that we can be available and do the most good in the world, which OCD will always interrupt us doing the most good in the world, because we can't be available. We can't. We're giving so much thought and thinking to the OCD. We're not expressing gratitude to our God, or thinking about all the people we can help in the world, or thinking about the acts of kindness and service that we can do. So, and actually going out and doing them efficiently and effectively without OCD getting in there. So I'd say a big one really is having a more spiritual alignment that goes aligned with human psychology and what we understand of the brain, and a realistic moral morality that understands the complexity of humans, and then realizing that the compulsions are keeping us trapped from really living our religion and our morality the way we want to, and then trying to gradually challenge it again with the help of a therapist. And in the religious context, often, a therapist that really gets our religion. A lot of therapists out there that really understand different religious faiths. So finding someone who does.